Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh Shai.
But thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. The Lord did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because ye were more in number than any people, for ye were the fewest of all people. But because the Lord loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers, hath the Lord brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen, from the hand of Pharaoh king of Egypt. Isaiah 4. And in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, We will eat our own bread, and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name, to take away our reproach. In that day shall the branch of the Lord be beautiful and glorious, and the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and comely for them that are escaped of Israel. And it shall come to pass, that he that is left in Zion, and he that remaineth in Jerusalem, shall be called holy.
All right, Shalom. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakodash. I want to give double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessing and many salutations to you, elect Akyam, across the 4 winds of this earth, pushing this word in sincerity and the truth. All right, I'm the brother Sha'ar from the Great Millstone Dallas camp, getting ready to go into this lesson based on the daily sacrifice and the evening sacrifice. All right. And when you really look at a lot of the ancient laws and ways we had done particular things, well, namely, let's look at the law for a sec. When you look at the law, and the more that you read and learn about Yahweh Shai, you find different characteristics within the law that correlates with Yahweh Shai's walk, right? And it makes sense where the scriptures go into how Yahweh Shai was the one that actually fulfilled the law. All right, a Christian will tell you that they'll say Jesus, but they'll say he fulfilled the law. And they'll look at that and say that the law is done away with, when that's not what that's talking about. When one goes into fulfilling the law, he is the law. And everything about the law that we had performed, all right, really symbolically represented him. All right, if you can receive it. Okay, different parts of the law. Well, I ain't gonna say every law, but there are different laws that we had done. All right, and it was more so looked at as like an outline to Yahweh Shai, how he's the sacrificial lamb. Okay, how he's the high priest. Okay, and there's numerous examples that you can go into, even little small details that you can go into, and it'll describe Yahweh Shai to a T. And that's that hidden manna that you find throughout all the scriptures. And it makes you understand when you read scriptures like this, Psalms 40:7. Then said I, lo, I come in the volume of the book, it is written of me. Okay, so right here in Psalms 40:7, it says, I come in the volume of the book. All right, because he fulfills it. He is it. Okay, he's the word, the expressed image of the Heavenly Father made plain for us to bear witness to. Okay, so when you read about certain places in the scriptures, goes into particular laws, all right, and the way certain things were done, a lot of it took an outline to heavenly things. All right, and one of those heavenly things actually being Yahweh Shai. Okay, now within this lesson right here, I'm going to go into the sacrifices like I explained earlier. You had what was called the morning sacrifice, and you had what was called the evening sacrifice. So I'm going to pull this up here in Exodus, the 29th chapter, and I'm going to start at, let's see here. This is Exodus chapter 29, verse 38. Okay, and it reads, Salakia, one sec. Exodus 29:38, and it reads, Now this is that which thou shalt offer upon the altar, 2 lambs of the first year, day by day, continually. Okay, so continually, day by day, we were supposed to offer up a sacrifice. Okay, well, I'm gonna even narrow that down. Okay, the priesthood. Okay, the priest had to offer up sacrifice. Israel had to give a lamb unto the priest, and that priest would slay the lamb. Okay, and that had to be done day by day continually. This was the job that the priest had done. Okay, and when you go into slaying the lamb, it ain't just no quick process neither. Like, it takes time for preparation. Okay, I haven't done it before, but spoke to particular individuals that have done it, and they explain the process very vividly. You can even look it up. Okay, but you got to go in a detailed process when it comes to skinning the lamb, trimming the fat. Okay, even comforting the lamb. Okay, before the slaughter takes place. So this took time. That's why you had to get up early to do it, for the preparation and then the slaughter. Okay. Verse 39 says, the one lamb thou shalt offer in the morning, and the other lamb thou shalt offer at even. So you had a morning sacrifice, because all of it's going into sacrifices. Okay, that's what you were sacrificing or slaughtering the lamb for. Okay, it was offered up as a sacrifice for our transgressions, right? It says, the one lamb thou shalt slaughter in the morning, and the other lamb thou shalt slaughter at even. And with the one lamb, 1/10 deal of flour mingled with the 4th part of an hin of beaten oil, and the 4th part of an hin of wine for a drink offering. Okay, so with this particular sacrifice, you had to burn it in oil. Okay, it had to be burned in oil. It had to be pressed and burned in the oil. Okay, and that's pretty much the point in that. But this here is the law going into the 2 sacrifices daily. All right, that had to be offered up. Okay, and the priest had to wake up early in order to perform these sacrifices. Okay, let's bring up an example. And this example here is going to be our forefather Job. Okay, because Job acted as a high priest for his family. Okay, why is that? Because Job offered up sacrifice. And you can read it right here in the book of Job, chapter 1, and I'm going to start at the top. And it says, there was a man in the land of Uz, whose name was Job. And that man was perfect and upright, and one that feared the Most High, and he eschewed evil. And there were born unto him 7 sons and 3 daughters. All right, and you just think about it, man. Back in that time, if you had multiple sons and you had substance, forget about it. You know, you had pacts, treaties with powerful nobles and such. You know, and that was the caliber of Job's status. Okay, and it's going to go into that. Job chapter 1 verse 3. His substance also was 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, and 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 she-asses. Okay, in a very great household. So Job had 7,000 sheep. Picture that. This is one family. You look at sheep today, you look at camels today, yoke of oxen, bands of pop, status. That's why it says in a very great household. Very great if you have substance like that. And if you have substance like that, no doubt you got to have land to be able to hold that substance. Okay? It says, so that this man was the greatest of all the men of the East. This man had status. So as I explained earlier in verse 2, he had 7 sons and 3 daughters. Back then, that's how you made pacts with noble families, with powerful families. Okay, if you wanted to join league with them, you would marry your sons and your daughters into that, and you would multiply. It was a business. Okay, and that was all substance and power that was going to be spread out to his children. Okay, when you look at that, the father passes his substance down unto his children. Okay, now let's continue to read. I want to get to the point. It says, and his sons went and feasted in their houses, every one his day. So like, I'm going to read that again. And his sons went and feasted in their houses, every one his day, and sent and called for their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. Okay, so this is a family gathering. Okay, hey, who knows? They could have been talking about business. Okay, and it was so, when the days of their feasting were gone about, that Job sent and sanctified them. and rose up early in the morning and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all. All right. So Job would wake up early and he would sanctify his children. Okay. Now, could that mean call them to the assembly? We know one thing, sanctify means to be set apart and clean them. Okay. And one way to cleanse was sacrifice. Okay. So you look at it, Job would sanctify his children by offering up sacrifices according for his sins and according to his children's sins. Okay. So it says again, and he rose up early in the morning and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, it may be that my sons have sins and cursed the Most High in their hearts. Thus did Job continually, right? So Job offered up sacrifice every morning for his children continually. Okay, so we see that this is something that wasn't foreign into our nation. All right, going into that sacrifice. Okay, now right here, it doesn't say that Job offered it in the evening, but I mean, if we understand that that was something that was common into our fathers, and Job was a man that escheweth evil. All right, and that word escheweth evil means to really turn away from, repent. Okay, hey, who's to say that he wasn't offering that in the evening? You read it back in Exodus 29. Remember, it said Job did it continually. Okay, this is Exodus 29 and 38. Now, this is that which thou shalt offer upon the altar, 2 lambs of the first year, day by day, continually. Okay, so we see that he had performed particular duties, all right, priestly duties at that, for his family, for his household, for those that he loved. Okay, verse 4 in Job 1 and 4. And his sons went and feasted in their houses. I'm sorry, Salakia. Job, let me see here. Where did I leave off at? That was the point. That was the key point right there going into that. But I wanted to go into how Job had performed these priestly duties that was written about in Exodus 29. Okay. Now, earlier I brought up in Psalms 40 and 7, where it says, for lo, I come in the volume of the book, it is written of me. And I had explained how Yahushua mimics certain old ways and parts of the law. It's all an outline of him to a degree. Okay. So going into the morning sacrifice and the evening sacrifice, and we understand that Yahushua was our sacrifice. So when you go into Yahushua's crucifixion, when you go into his, as the Christian world likes to speak, his passion or his trial period, it was done in one day. Now, of course, in his walk, he was an afflicted man. All right. But the hour that was to come, all right, was one day where his trial had taken place. Okay. And when you read this here in the book of Matthew, the 27th chapter, right, I'm going to read it. And I'm starting from the first chapter. OK, because this goes into Yahushua, and we understand that Yahushua was and is our sacrifice. OK, Matthew 27 and 1 says, when the morning was come, all the chief priests and elders of the people took counsel against Yahushua to put him to death. Okay, mind you, this had taken place in the morning. Okay, now I'm not going to read the whole chapter, but I wanted to touch upon that part where that was after they had came after Yahushua to kill him. And when you read about this chapter, it goes into how Yahushua was stricken, how he was beat, how he had a crown of thorns placed on his head. Okay, he had experienced a very rough trial period. Okay, I'm going to jump down from Matthew 27. And I'm going to go more so to the point, but keep that in mind. Matthew 27 and 1 said this had all taken place in the morning. Okay. So this is the book of Matthew, chapter 27, verse, let's see here. Screw it. Let's start at 24. And it says, when Pilate saw that he could prevail nothing, but that rather a tumult was made, he took water and washed his hands before the multitude, saying, I am innocent of the blood of this just person. See ye do it. Okay. Now, we understand that the Spirit can speak through anybody, and Pontius Pilate was a demon. All right, when you go into his history. But when you go into this, he was trying to ask questions to the Jews, what made him as wicked for that condemnation that they were requiring. Okay. And then that's when he pretty much says, hey, man, look, I'm going to wash my hands. But one thing that he noticed about Yahushua was that he was a just person. Okay. Just like Job. Just like any righteous man is supposed to be. Okay. And one way that made Job just, okay, which was many things, but his fire that he had toward the Lord, and he was so fervent to offer up sacrifices daily. To offer sacrifices daily, man. Because that's how you cover sins, a sacrifice. Okay. Matthew 27:25. Then answered all the people and said, his blood be on us and on our children. Then released he Barabbas unto them. And when he had scourged Yahushua, he delivered him to be crucified. Then the soldiers of the governor took Yahushua into the common hall and gathered unto him the whole band of soldiers. And it says, and they stripped him and put him in a scarlet robe. And when they had platted a crown of thorns, they put it upon his head and a reed in his right hand. And they bowed the knee before him and mocked him, saying, Hail, King of the Jews. And they spit upon him and took the reed and smote him on the head. Mind you, this whole process started in the morning in Matthew 27:1. It says, and after they had mocked him, they took the robe off of him and put his own raiment on him and led him away to crucify him. And as they came out, they found a man of Cyrene, Simon by name. Him they compelled to bear his cross. And when they were come up unto a place called Golgotha, that is to say, a place of a skull, they gave him vinegar to drink, mingled with gall. And when he was tasted thereof, he would not drink. Okay, and the Apostle Gabar has mentioned this plenty of times, man. Hey, I was probably pissed that they had given him. Okay, Yahushua he was already a heavily afflicted man, but when you read this chapter, it goes into how Yahushua was mocked, how he was beat. All right. And we understand that this was his sacrifice that he had to go through. Okay. This is the weight of the burden that he had to carry. And any just man's going to have to go through their burden. We all got our hours that we have to go through and experience, you know. Even when I read earlier in Job did all those things, and Job was afflicted, you know. Shows you what the true sacrifice is, you know. But I'm going to continue to read this here in Matthew 27:35. And they crucified him and parted his garments, casting lots, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by the prophet. They parted my garments among them, and upon my vesture did they cast lots. And sitting down, they watched him there, and set up over his head an accusation written, this Jesus, Yahushua, the King of the Jews. Salakia. Meant to say Yahushua, okay? But it was all in caps. This Yahushua, all right, the King of the Jews. And they did that to mock him. Then were there two thieves crucified with them, one on the right hand and the other on the left. And they passed by, reviling him, wagging their heads, and saying, Thou that destroyest the temple and buildest in 3 days, save thyself. If thou be the Son of God, come down from the cross. Mocking him. Okay. Likewise, also the chief priests mocking him, with the scribes and elders said, He saved others. Himself he cannot save? If he be the King of Israel, let him now come down from the cross, and we believe him. He trusted in God. Let him deliver him now. If he will have him, for he said, I am the Son of God. The thieves also, which were crucified with him, cast the same in his teeth. All right. So, you know, as Yahushua was up there on that staff of wood hanging, okay, they was mocking him. We read earlier, they spit upon him. All this had taken place in the morning. Okay. And this was considered a shameful death back in the ancient world. A very shameful death. Okay. And he had to bear this. He had to bear this for not only his sins, and I'll get that in a minute, but our sins too, as any high priest would do. Read earlier in Job, the first chapter, going into how Job, when he sacrificed, not only did he sacrifice for his sins, but also his children's sins. Okay, his family. Matter of fact, I might as well get that real quick before I continue. The Spirit told me to bring it out. Let me find that real quick. Bear with me one sec, Baba Kashaw. Let's see here. I think this is it in Hebrews 7. Yeah, this is it right here. Hey, Salakia. This is the book of Hebrews chapter 7, verse 27. And this is going into the high priest. Unlike the other high priest, he does not need to offer up sacrifices day after day, for of his own sins and then for the sins of his people. And this is talking about Yahushua, because it goes into the daily sacrifices that the high priest had to offer up. But it's saying that Yahushua, because it's explaining Yahushua as being the high priest, it's saying that he only had to do this once. But as it's expressing going into how the high priest had to sacrifice not only for his sins, but also for the sins of the people, Yahushua had to do likewise in the same. Okay, because he sinned as Adam, he sinned as Solomon. So he had to be sacrificed for his sins and then for his kindred's sins, all right, which is Israel, starting with the elect. Okay, going back to Job, how I read earlier, Job offered up sacrifice not only for his sins, but for his children's, and he did this continually. All right, this is that continual daily sacrifice that the priest had to do. And right here in Hebrews 7, it's saying Yahushua had to do that within the same. But he did that by offering up himself. All right, he sacrificed for their sins once for all when he offered himself. Okay, so jumping back to Matthew, the 27th chapter. Okay, as going into this, Matthew chapter 27, verse 45. It says, now from the 6th hour there was darkness over all the land unto the 9th hour. And about the 9th hour, Yahushua cried with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. That is to say, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? Okay, so, excuse me. When you go into this in Matthew 27 and 45, it goes into how from the 6th hour, there was darkness. Mind you, when all this had taken place and started unfolding, it unfolded in the morning when Yahushua was taken by those wicked scribes and Pharisees. Okay, and when you go into the 6th hour is more like 12 o'clock p.m. Okay, in the afternoon, right? And then when you continue to read, okay, it says in the 9th hour, that's when Yahushua had cried out. Okay, so it was 3 hours while darkness was on the earth. In the 9th hour, Yahushua had cried out. Okay, and the 9th hour is more like 3 o'clock. Remember that, 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock is the 9th hour. Okay, you have the 3rd hour, which is around 9 in the morning. You have the 6th hour, which is 12 in the evening. Sorry, not 9. You have the 9th hour at 3 o'clock. Okay, 3 o'clock in the evening. Okay, so remember that 3 o'clock, like I explained earlier. Okay, so it says after Yahushua had said that in verse 47, some of them stood there when they heard that, said, this man calleth for Elias. Because you remember, you go into the name Elias, that's talking about Elijah. And when you say Elijah in the Hebrew, Elijah is Aliyah. Okay, so when you go into my God, you're saying Aliyah. So that's why they asked if he was calling out for Elijah. Okay, when he said, my God, Aliyah. Okay, and then it says lama sabachthani, which I believe that's shabachthaniah. I believe so. But when you continue to read in 48, it says, and straightway one of them ran and took a sponge and filled it with vinegar and put it on his reed and gave it to him to drink. Okay, he had to drink that bitterness. Hey, we all got to drink that bitterness, man. All right, Yahushua just had to fulfill it. But we all got to do it too. But when you continue in verse 49, it says, the rest said, let us be whether Elias will come to save him. Yahushua, when he had cried again with a loud voice, yielded up the ghost. Okay, so this was all done during the 9th hour. When you read earlier in Matthew, the 27th chapter, in the first verse, it said all this started in the morning when he was taken. And when you go into when this had taken place, okay, in the 9th hour, this was more so like 3 o'clock p.m. Okay, so within this lesson, I'm correlating Yahushua's trial period when he was sacrificed to the sacrifice that the high priest had done in the morning and in the evening. Now earlier, I was reading Job, and the Spirit led me to go into all this, and I randomly went on Google. And I typed in, and I usually have pictures in the background of my lessons, but within this part, I'm going to actually type the word in, that way you can see it for yourself. Okay. And I typed in was the evening sacrifice. Okay. And when you go into that, look what it says, 3 p.m. Now, who's to say we, it could have been done at different times and such. All right. And earlier I went into the preparation, okay? Because of course, when you go into that sacrifice, you don't just start the sacrifice, just burning it with fire. It has to be sacrificed. The fat has to be trimmed and such, and that type of stuff took time where they could actually offer it up later. Okay. But they had to do that every morning and every evening. Okay. And you find it ironic when Yahushua was taken, he was taken from the scribes and the Pharisees in the morning. And when he had gave up the ghost, at 9, which is correlated to around 3 p.m. Okay. Which is a similar time that the high priest would prepare or offer up that evening sacrifice. Okay. And to a degree, we're doing like in the same, how we do our lessons, we do our shows. The word is coming out continually. We do represent the body of Yahushua. Okay. Matter of fact, let me go into that in Corinthians. Okay. It's the book of 1 Corinthians, the 3rd chapter. 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 16. And it reads, know ye not that ye are the temple of the Most High, and that the Spirit of the Most High dwelleth within you? If any man defile the temple of the Most High, him shall the Most High destroy. For the temple of the Most High is holy, and the temple ye are. Okay, so that goes into ultimately, where the Spirit of the Most High dwells, man. Okay, and we all represent the body of Yahushua. Okay, we're one body. Okay. So going into that, as Yahushua had to offer up those sacrifices, and he did that with himself, we have to do one and the same. Okay. And again, as Job had done his sacrifices continually for his sins and his children's, as the high priest had to offer up his continually, because mind you, we are a priesthood, and Yahushua is our high priest. Okay. So Yahushua had to offer up himself. All right. Morning to evening. Okay. And we likewise do the same as we constantly have utterance within the word. All right. Morning and evening, day and night. All right. Leads me to the book of Psalms. And I'm going to end it off on this lesson right here. The book of Psalms, chapter 19. And I'm going to start from the top. It says, to the chief musician, a psalm of David, the heavens declare the glory of the Most High, and the firmament showeth the handiwork. Day unto day uttereth speech, night unto night showeth knowledge. Okay, and this is our sacrifice that we do. Okay, and the form of that is uttereth, is speech. And we do that with the fruit of our lips. And I know I said that it's the last precept, but I got one more. Salakia. But I'm going to read that again. Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. All right. And that's going into the internet. OK. But when you look at the internet, that goes into when we prophesy. We do it on YouTube constantly, day into day, not in the night. Jake going live early, Jake going live later. And does this necessarily mean that you have to do it twice? Of course, you ain't, the more the merrier. But it's whatever is on your portion of the spirit, because we do represent the body of Yahushua. All right. And we work within a network. Okay. We work within a network of men offering this sacrifice. And it all represents the sacrifice of Yahushua. It's all an embodiment of the sacrifice of Yahushua, man. Okay. So don't burn yourself out. Of course, don't be no sluggard, you know. But whatever's on your spirit to do, that regardless, the speech is going to be uttered, is where I'm getting at. It's going to be uttered morning and evening. All right. And that's sacrifice. Okay. And I said I was going to pull up this last precept right here in the book of Corinthians. Hold on. I think it's in Corinthians. Let's see. No, Salaki, this is Hebrews 13:5. It says, by him, therefore, let us offer up the sacrifice of praise to the Most High continually. Woo! What is that? It's the daily sacrifice, man. Earlier, it said continually. The priest had to offer up sacrifice. Job offered up sacrifice continually for his and his family's sins. Yahushua had to offer up himself, and that was for a continual sacrifice for us. And right here it's saying, by him, therefore, let us offer up the sacrifice of praise to the Most High continually. That is the fruit of our lips, giving thanks to his name. And that is that utterance. That's what we do. That is the sacrifice, the burdens that we carry. Okay. But it's done continually. Okay. You know, so I mean, you know, I believe the point was made. Lord's will, that was edifying. But amen, through the Spirit, Yahushua represents the sacrifice, man, the morning sacrifice and the evening sacrifice. Okay. Yahushua was offered up from morning and had given up the ghost, all right, in the 9th hour. Okay. So Lord's will, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai. Bahashem HaKodesh. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessing and many salutations to you, elect Akim, across the four winds of this earth, pushing this word in sincerity and in truth. All right, Shalom.